topic, have a message for today. A little bit of insight, a little bit of information on top of my own perspective. So today, there's multiple things that I can touch on and I can speak on. I haven't yet just organized exactly how I'm going to approach every situation, because there's a lot of things that we need to heal on. There's a lot of things that we need to talk about. There's a lot of things that we need to discuss as a people. And I'm very open for, new topics and new conversations. You guys can always reach out and comment what you guys want to hear and how you guys feel about the things that I say. But mostly today I wanted to talk about the reconstruction of the man and woman. I would like to say the demasculation of the black woman and the demasculation of the black man. And the reconstruction of becoming a divine melanated woman and a divine melanated man. So there's numerous of things that I can touch on based on just that topic itself. But I just want to bring the awareness and the information when it comes to the simple fact of the reconstruction, the relationships and the bond and the connection that we have with man and woman. There is a major disconnect with the black man and the black woman. We do not know our roles as a people, clearly. A lot of women nowadays, especially in the melanated community, society, however you want to look at it, the perspective of a black woman, we had to become providers and protectors. And naturally, that is a man's job to do so, to provide and to protect. That is a very masculine energy. Although we have both energies, every man and every woman has the masculine energy and the feminine energy. I'm sorry. So with this being said, we are literally created out of man and woman. You have 23 chromosomes from your mother, and you have 23 chromosomes for your father. Combining that into one organism, it becomes a whole living species, which is how we are created. We are created out of the feminine and the masculine energy. But when you are given the sex of a woman, and when you're given the sex of a male, we do spiritually have these natural wiring to where we play out certain different aspects and characteristics of each other, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, women are naturally a species that needs to be an expression and needs to be, we are naturally emotional and we are naturally expressive. Now, we can, like a woman is going to express herself. She's the expression. She's the cultivator of the act, right? But a man is more so logic, very much so, I don't know what it is to be with men, but I know that a man's natural wiring is logic. We think two different ways. Us women may feel and express what we feel, but man may go by the mental, rely more on what it's very difficult for me to try to explain the man aspect of it, but I know that we have two completely different ways of being. We are wired completely different, and for some reason, we have created a world where we try to be seen as equals, right? A man wants, I don't know. I feel like most people, I guess, we want to be considered equals, right? And I totally understand that. But how can two different things be equal? We have to simply learn black man. We have to simply learn the black woman and coexist with each other again in order to become one. Because we are living in separation. We think that we are equal when there is work and insight and emotional damage that needs to be understood within our connection, if that makes any sense. If a woman is constantly trying to be equal to her man, then that relationship, that bond will always be at a disconnect for the simple fact that the energies cannot be reciprocated, for the simple fact that we have two different genetic makeups. Literally, you can't treat a man how you want to be treated just for the simple fact that that is not his nature. A man shouldn't treat a woman like his equal just for the simple fact that it is not her nature. Understand? But we have been conditioned. We have been conditioned with multiple mentalities to where, yeah, you give a woman anything and she will cultivate it. She will become more of. Now, a lot of these women had to become masculine. A lot of these women had to become providers and protectors, and we had to consume that energy. We had to consume that aspect, that characteristic. And once you give a woman anything, a woman can actually be molded into anything. So once we get molded into that, we cultivate it to make it even bigger. And once you combine a feminine energy and it overrules, once you combine the masculine energy with the feminine energy, and the masculine energy, what is the word I'm looking for? The word I'm looking for is when the masculine energy basically overrides the feminine energy, we get chaotic expression. When women feels that women can be independent, right? We can do any fucking thing. But we have to look at we have to analyze the cause and effect that it would do to the female. A lot of these times, women do become the providers and the protectors, but what happens? They can't rely on a man. Even though naturally it's our instinct. Naturally it's who we are. Naturally, if a man allowed us to be submissive and we felt safe and we felt comfortable enough, we will be submissive. But since that was taken away, and on top of it being taken away, all the damage that has been done when we were abandoned, it created basically a lot of these women have to be men, and a lot of these men are becoming women. I mean, it sounds crazy, but when we look at the feminine and masculine energy, a lot of it can be a female with a man, right? And that female has more masculine energy than that man. This happens on an everyday basis. On an everyday basis. I just have to, right? So let's just take it in, and let's just, conversate, and let's think here. Like, what am I truly saying? And do you guys see this within your lives? Like, for example, there's plenty of melanated single mothers. A lot of these mothers come from not even being shown what a man essentially is, right? Not even being shown what a man essentially is. So therefore, it's hard to identify when you do have a divine, or not even divine, a masculine energy or a man. Because a lot of these men come from single mothers with that masculine energy, and how they see their mom portray that masculine energy. today, oh my God, I feel like, okay, I'm kind of losing I want to tie it all together. I don't want to get everywhere. But the man that is raised by his single mother picks up a feminine energy that happens to be somewhat of what a woman would perceive as masculine. And that makes a man look like a bitch, a hoe. And this is why we got these bitch ass niggas. These hoe ass niggas. And also this is why we got these bitches. You know, we have to separate the difference between a nigga and a man. A bitch and a woman. You know, my black people, my black society, my family, we have been conditioned to be tolerant of these things. We have been conditioned to be tolerant of these things. It breaks my heart when a woman feels as if she doesn't need a man. Because I know naturally, that's not true. No one desires to be alone. No one desires to be alone. We all crave intimacy. We all crave closeness, and we all crave understanding. Now, what we need to do here is learn the black woman and the black man. We have to know the conditions that they have been up under. We have to first look at the conditions that they have been up under. I was talking to a close friend of mine, and he was basically telling me how, yes, it would be a lot easier to deal with a different race of female because they simply would not bring what a black woman brings to the table. And all I had to say is that we have a due diligence to do, we have a job, we have a duty to do, and that is to heal ourselves. And when you look at your breed, the melanated kind, it is your job. You should feel obligated, like I feel obligated. I feel obligated to be a divine woman to any man that come across me because he has not seen what that is. It is our job to heal the black man and to heal the black woman. As cliche as it might sound. Every time I go into that, I hear myself, but it's also the words that I'm using. It's meaningful. Look at what I'm saying. We need to heal the black woman. We need to heal the black man in order for us to get out of that condition so we can become one again, so we can understand each other again. Because the black woman has a huge wound. The black man has a huge wound. The black man was not allowed to grow up to become a man. A lot of these grown men are boys that need a fucking hug, that need an understanding, that needs a nurture to just embrace and to say, I see you. A lot of these women were not given a chance to become grown women. A lot of these grown females are stuck being little girls because they were abandoned. And as long as we know that, when you see, a ghetto or a man that's not, once you get that vibration and you get that frequency, like oppression or like shit, this ghetto or this like I can't get over like this mentality, like that type of shit, just know that comes from a place. That comes from a place of a lot of years of not having any knowledge of self, and ultimately being destroyed in this world, in this society. That comes from a place. That's not them. That is the condition we are in. That is the condition that we are in. And I see a whole lot of stupid. I see a whole lot of baby mama drama. A whole lot of baby daddy ain't this, ain't that. Oh my God. This is some advice I can give to my women. Now, the very first thing that I apply into my life when it comes to man, me as a divine woman, I practice being a divine woman of my life, meaning that I don't carry the corrupt energy of the mad, angry black woman. You know, I honestly believe every man, especially every melanated man, should be treated as he is, which is a god, a king. And in order to do that, you see, you can't just go around treating any type of guy like that now, because they've been conditioned. Right? But in this condition, you see that they hurt, you see that they respond like women, etc., etc. A tactic that I like to use in my life, or in my relationships and in my bonds, is always, and even for the men, this does apply to men as well. In order to be a divine man, in order to be a divine woman, this is one of the main rules you must do. When you're dealing with someone you're involved with, engaged with, you must look at them as if they are, like, for example, if I'm with the guy and we are at a disconnect, or I'm really not liking how this person is going about this situation, and it's altering and it's changing something in how I feel. The first thing I like to do is basically place myself in a motherly headspace, in a motherly mentality. Like, if my husband, I also have to look at my husband as if he is my son. Now, to a lot of people, they'll be like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about? What? That's weird, a little weird. But on a more spiritual level, we have to consciously think here. Your mother is your very first nurturer, as well as your father being the first, supposed to be the first masculine energy. Feminine energy should bring nourishment. We are just like a seed. A child can grow within us. We are supposed to nourish everything around us. Things that come to us, it's like a whole different way of providing. Just more so in a female aspect, if that makes any sense. So, with the woman being, okay, just like, okay, if we came from living in truth, right? If we came from living in truth, and if our breed was not as out of sync as there would be divine femininity in the home, there would be divine masculinity in the home, and we would know, we will have a GPS, we will have a navigation, we'll have a script, a skeleton, we will have the greatest example of what masculine energy is and what feminine energy is. A female body has the role of oh my God. Then you got to get into all the different aspects of being a divine woman when it comes to being a divine woman. You know, it's a lot. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it's a lot. And I wanna start having classes. I wanna start teaching women how to apply this in your life. Like, for example, it was just this one incident that was online where this young man had shot this guy because his mother was in this altercation with him, and she was actually getting physically assaulted, right? And someone, I was watching the interview, and he had asked about that video, like, how did you feel? And he was like, well, two things. No man should be putting his hands on a woman, and no woman should be talking back. No woman should be going back and forth with a man. And a lot of women, this would trigger a lot of females, because this is the condition that they're in. As soon as they hear, oh, you're not supposed to talk back to a man, they automatically, demons start coming out. Well, what the fuck you, that's that masculine, dependent, I need to separate myself and be equal to this man mentality. This is what we need to get rid of, because the more and more you step into your femininity and you allow that man to be that man, he's talking, you see that he's frustrated, no matter how it is. When you understand what a man is and you understand how they're wired and how we're wired, first of all, when a man is talking, they barely express themselves. It's always short and simple because they're logic. So when a man takes the time out to be expressing himself and he going off at the mouth, acknowledge that. A lot of men aren't able to fucking express themselves, and that's why they have all this built up softness within them. When you allow a man to be a man, he sees that, he feels that, and it does something to his body genetically to where he allows you to be more of a woman. I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. All my hairs just stood up. He allows you to be more of a woman, because you, and it's as simple as that. Once you allow a man to be a man, he will allow you to be a woman. But this is the disconnect. We have not allowed our man to be man. We have not allowed our woman to be woman. It was stripped away from us. Mentally, physically, we was conditioned not to have any knowledge on self. Meaning, a lot of women does not know themselves when it comes to just being a female organism. We are wired completely different from man, genetically. Do you understand that when a woman has her menstrual cycle that we have chemical imbalances? We have chemical imbalances most of the time based on our hormones. Man, on some extent, has a whole different process when it comes to that itself. So, scientifically, it is proven that we must learn each other because we are completely wired different. And when we take the time out to, like, even with men, when you feel that a woman is bitching, nagging, most of the time I see where a lot of men fail at is that they don't know the wiring of a female as well. They don't know how a woman naturally is when it comes to their mind. Most of the time, a man and a woman is out of sync with each other is because they are not fulfilling or acknowledging those simple, natural desires that we have when it comes to a bond in a relationship. And if you are able to, if you just come in with how you coming, and you not trying to understand and grow with the person that you're with, then how far do you actually think you're going to grow? And that comes with anybody. Like anybody, any type of relationship. We must always try to understand and analyze people, especially the relationships that we're in. It doesn't stop when you get with a person. You're not supposed to know, oh, I know this person. Because honestly, we're constantly growing. And we're supposed to grow. And if you're not aligned with that person's growth, guess what? You're going to run into a disconnect. Again, I'm all over the place. I didn't want to get too much into detail. I'm definitely going to do multiple videos about this topic because I have so much more to say about this. I hope whoever's listening took some insight, took some information, or just, agreed with me on certain things and can, spread the light, spread the word, and try to self-correct yourself when it comes to certain men and certain women. A lot of women just want to be acknowledged. A lot of women just want to be paid attention to. And spiritually, that means a lot because, listen, from the beginning, we've been conditioned to be abandoned. So the only thing if we can't secure ourselves with trusting our providers and our protectors, then how chaotic do you think the woman mind can get? Is this young man who did this small organization where he assigned a bunch of men to, hang out around the bus stops where a lot of women would, have to go to work, drop their kids off and do this and that. And he basically provided a protecting services for those black women to get on a bus, and feel safe at, late hours of the night and early hours of the AM. And he said the response that we got, the women was bringing coffee, the women was, asking them what they needed. Again, a man was allowing himself to be a man, and then women fell straight in line and allowed herself to be a woman. When I heard that, I'm like, okay, yes, that is the implement. That is what we need. That is a piece of the mentality that we need, because that will bring us back together as one. We can't appropriate, we can't keep making children with people that we don't see ourselves with. We can't continue to be in our desires temporarily. Master your desires before your desires becomes your master. Master your desires, for those who could give you your desires will become your master. So, peace to the guys, man. That's all I really wanted to say. Short message. I am a messenger. I'm a light worker. I'm a master of self. Enlightened by the Most High I am. I love myself. And get in tune, guys.